Good morning, everybody. Able to hear me? आवाज सुनाई दे रही है? Perfect. So let us wait for a quick couple of minutes, guys. Let everybody join. There are all the people who are about to join. So let us wait. One second, I'm just checking, guys. So yesterday I actually had some issue with my OBS, so that's why I was not able to do the session yesterday. OBS में प्रॉब्लम हो गया था जरा. Everybody also got an announcement. Okay, so let us begin today's discussion, guys. Anyway, yes, other cultures as well. Yes. I'm doing good. I think everybody's got an announcement as well on their app about the class. Now, let us begin. We'll begin the day with the discussion about some of the current affairs which was happening. And one of the most important news which you guys have been sort of must have been observing on a regular basis now is the France problem, right? France is going through a lot of France, France has a lot of tension, a lot of issues going on, and France is actually burning, right? So you need to obviously know why France is in such problem, and ऊपर से like France, India is also a secular country. तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं? I mean, what can India as a country also do if something like this, or should we really understand if something like this could actually happen in India, or ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है क्या? The issue in France is the French police actually killed in one of the shootings. They were actually checking the car of one of the sort of colonial migrants of African descent in France, in Paris, and check karte karte somehow They ended up shooting and killing a 16-year-old boy. His name is Nahel. He's an Algerian descent of former French colony of Algeria. Now, killing of him actually led to severe, you can say, strikes and protests in Paris, particularly in Abbeville, Clamance, Clichy-sous-Bois, Azon, Montreal, Nanterre, and Viry-Châtillon. In all these places, there was severe challenges, strikes. साथ में ये भी now Amiens, Annecy, Bordeaux, Dijon, many places. Now that's the beautiest part. Initially, the French police claimed that he was actually trying to escape. कह रहे थे हम कार चेक कर रहे थे, they were escaping. But later, a video got released by one of the citizens of France. The boy was completely innocent. It was strictly racial killing because he was an African. French police killed him. This is not the first. French police is racist, absolutely to the core. France is one of the most racially and ethnically diverse countries, and at least 32% of France's population today is under 60, has at least one migrant ancestor. Look, France had a lot of colonies in North Africa, particularly Northwest Africa. I mean, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, all these regions. There had a lot of Algeria, there had a lot of colonization. And naturally, a lot of people migrated to Paris, and that happened. The formal French presence in Africa has actually come all the way from Madagascar in 1642, an establishment of port called Port of Saint Louis, present day Senegal, in 1659. Look, France mainly wanted to gain access to commodities like Arabic gum and groundnuts, and also control transatlantic slave, which was actually one of the largest businesses in the 16th, 17th centuries. And eventually, after the invasion of Algeria, the second French colonization happened in the 19th century, early 19th century, 1830 onwards. By the early 20th century, France had very strong presence in Algeria, Morocco, Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, Benin, Guinea, Ivory Coast, Niger, all these places. Now, the beauty, I'll tell you, France did decolonization or began the decolonization process in 1962. But decolonization was never completely concluded. So even today, most of these former French colonies remain under French influence, economically or politically or socially or culturally. Most of these even today speak French. In fact, they use a currency called CFA. the, the currency in these countries, in former French colonies, is actually controlled by France. So do you think a country which does not have control over its currency, can that country even be called a sovereign country? Can we even call it a sovereign country? That's the problem. Now, why the killing was done? Primarily due to systemic racism. I mean, in fact, this is according to United Nations study itself that young men, particularly of black or North African descent, are 20 times more likely to be subjected to police identity checks and than rest of the population in France. I mean, young men are 20 times more bound to get beaten, arrested, and killed in France. 20 times more by the French police. This is actually the problem. And another unfortunate part is French government knows this but does nothing about it. It's systemic racism. France's exploitative relationship, particularly neocolonialism or last stage of colonialism with its former colonies, is actually one of the main reasons. In fact, France has left Africa, but French police has not yet. France has given up colonization, not the French government. आज भी इनके mindset में blacks are considered inferior, whites are considered superior. That mindset is there in the French police. These were the former French colonies. And you see the dark blue, they are called francophones. Means these are the countries where they still speak French. And these are the countries where people still speak. यहाँ इन countries में आज भी लोग फ्रेंच बात करते हैं. और ये जो लाइट ब्लू है ना, इनमें कुछ हद तक फ्रेंच बात किया जाता है. आई मीन सीरियसली 1962 में आज़ादी मिल गया था. आई मीन 1962 इंडिपेंडेंस वाज गिवन. और आज तक अटके पड़े हुए फ्रेंच में टिल डेट. And particularly, French government continuously keeps interfering in the political affairs of these countries, former colonies, having a considerable military presence. French military actually serves in many of these countries. French military, even today, maintains law and order and security in these former colonies. What is the result? Majority of Africa, and particularly Northwest Africa, still psychologically remains a French colony, still remains under French influence. Majority of them. And many of these former French colonies actually have been the preferred destination where minimum wages and workers' rights are actually assured. So many see because French military, French government indirect presence is there. Naturally, don't you think people of these colonies would go to France as their preferred destination for work? And for the French government, it would obviously be impossible for them to restrict this migration. No, यही problem है. See this. I call it CFA is basically the French controlled currency. See the countries which use CFA as their official currency. If this is decolonization, I don't even know what India went through then. Does this even qualify to be called decolonization by any standards? ये problem है. And see, France does take benefit of this because North Africa se people prefer to go to France. French companies want this North African labor because they are cheap. They're very cheap. They can be exploited. They can be exposed. They can be looted. Over the decades, धीरे धीरे करके most of these African colonies, people, African colony populations started going to Paris and France. And यही problem है. There are white Frenchmen, there are black Frenchmen. But France does not support multicultural society or multicultural or pluralist mindset. Got it? There is very little which is being done to culturally assimilate these blacks who are coming. That has never been done by the French government. Aj, this is leading to assimilation problem. The blacks numbers are increasing. Now their children and their children. So blacks versus whites ka dispute chal raha hai. In fact, the French government wanted these blacks to become French rather than identifying them as migrants who have their own identity. This has led to severe challenges. See, there are three models of assimilation which are generally observed in the world. एक है US model, where State and religion, state and culture remains at arm's length distance. The other is the French model, which is total separation between state and religion, state and culture, state and identity. Then comes the porous wall of separation, which is the Indian model. Separation between state and religion, but where needed, we will work together. This is the French model, which is now creating major trouble. Yes, Puja, there are many Africans who work in French sports, but they do not get the same treatment as the French white men. That's the problem. पूरा issue का problem ही वही है ना. The US model is the point of view that religion is a private affair of the person and state passively respects all the religion. In this model, state and religion maintain an arm's length. Now, the French model, also called militant secularism or laicite, where there's a long battle between religious influence on the laws and government. Laicite was introduced in France. It is followed in France and also in Quebec province of Canada. Total and complete separation. Religious activities and symbols are completely banned in the public sphere. Government doesn't get into religious activities. Government doesn't get into religious symbolism. In fact, the French model even restricts, this is where the problem is, hijab and Sikh turban in the public sphere. You know this, right? France even tried to pass laws to ban hijab, ban turbans. Yes. Then comes the Indian model. Indian model, state can interfere in the religion mainly to promote progressive voices within every religion, like abolition of untouchability, abolition of instant triple talaq and stuff. However, religion is prohibited from interfering in state matters, disallowing mobilization of electoral support on religious lines. Now, you understood the difference between American and Indian model? American model में state totally does not get into religion at all. Varsha, in American model of secularism, state has no contact with religion. Whereas in the Indian model, state retains itself separate, but where it needs, states does support rationalism and pluralist attitude in religion so that it can help in upliftment. Got the difference? But religion cannot dictate state. State can dictate religion where needed. In the beginning, one of you was saying, no, sir, India में French model में state does not get into religion and religion is a private affair. So state completely avoids. If your religion is playing bad against the state also, state ignores it. In the French model, if your religion is cynical about the state, ignores it. And you are expected to follow the state, not the religion, in the French model. Militant secularism, मतलब जबरदस्ती का सेक्युलरिज्म. French model, जबरदस्ती का secularism. Secularism at gunpoint. Now, what all protects us is preamble, constitution, judgments, acts. We have a lot of protections which make sure India remains secular or India gets its secularity on a regular basis. Look, India is much better because of its porous secularism. It relates to the state of togetherness or integrity despite the presence of diversity. In India, it can be seen through national integration, growth and development, global recognition, and peaceful coexistence. So, see, we have much bigger, say, diverse communities than what the French society has, right? पर हमारे पास तो दंगे नहीं होते, हमारे पास तो झगड़े नहीं होते। करेक्ट, क्योंकि हम झगड़ालू है ही नहीं। हम झगड़ालू है ही नहीं, बस सीधी बात। ओके। Next, there was some news about Gutti Koya tribes in recently in the news. Last yesterday, day before yesterday also there was a news. Gutti Koya tribes. These are basically, see, Koya tribes are basically Adivasi tribes, ancestrally originally from Chhattisgarh. But as time went, they escaped to different states, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha. They migrated, particularly after the start of the Salva Judum and the Naxalite problem. Many Koya tribes actually migrated. Guti Koyas currently held scheduled tribe status in Chhattisgarh, but they are not granted scheduled tribe status in Telangana and some of the migrated places, which obviously they are questioning now. They have a unique practice. When important people die or a dignitary dies, they actually erect a stone in gratitude or memory of their services. उनके ट्राइब में अगर कोई इंपॉर्टेंट लोग या इंपॉर्टेंट व्यक्ति गुजर गए, तो उनके रिमेम्बरेंस में एक पत्थर का एक stone is erected. Like generally, they do this only for three people: Veji or physician, Pujari or priest, or the heads, community heads. Now, these are only men. So, women cannot become a physician or a Pujari or a community head here. And generally, Gutti Koya tribes earn a living through animal husbandry and minor forest produce. They're demanding ST status in new places as well. Now, these Gutti Koya tribes are one of the largest you can say, victims of Naxalbari and Maoist movement. Now, where does Maoism stand today? So some of the recent facts I'm telling you. We still have Maoism and Naxalism existing, but Naxalism is actually on a decline. So it's a severe decline. There are some places where Naxalism still exists in Bihar, Chhattisgarh region because एक तो मुंगेर, मीरठ, Khargon in area में you actually get these duplicate guns or country pistols. जैसे कहता है देसी कट्टा, मुंगेर में कट्टा आराम से मिल जाता है. And some of the recent trends that we actually saw is even Munger section. Many criminals are helping Maoists acquire guns. आजकल तो everything happens through delivery. This is a recent fact which government of India realized. From .3 to pistol, magazine to everything. दिल्ली से लेके वेस्ट यूपी तक कहीं भी डिलीवरी हो जाएगा. फोन करके ऑर्डर दे दो, मिल जाएगा. देसी कट्टास आर selling for as cheap as 1500 rupees. AK-47 for 1 to 2 lakhs. .3 to bore pistol with two magazines. 35-40 हजार में बिक रहा है. Double barrels 40,000, 40-50,000. I mean, this is government record. I mean, it's not cheap. No wonder that area sees such a big problem. No, obviously, the Naxal influence has severely declined. Particularly, there are about 29-30. Sandeep, how it has declined is in 2017, there were 908 incidents 2018, there were only 257. I mean, look, Sandeep, I'll tell you the problem. Previously, इतने आर्मी पर्सनल मरते थे that media used to not even record it. अभी इतने कम मरते हैं. I mean, I don't want to sound terrible, but now the Naxalbari attacks have come down so less that even one or two attacks looks like big. But previously, we've been severe victims of Naxalbarism. It is on a severe decline. 20% decline in nuclear violence, particularly in LWA districts. Visakhapatnam, Bhadradri of Telangana, Malkangiri of Odisha, Sukma, Rajnandgaon, Narayanpur, Kodagaon, Kanker, Dantewada, Bijapur, Bastar of Chhattisgarh. But there are also many parts where Naxalbari is completely gone. See, there are many reasons for why it is on a decline. एक तो इंटरेस्ट गया. Even Naxalism has lost its purpose. Government role has increased a lot. Look, the number of incidents has gone down. You can't deny this. Previously, I mean, those in Chhattisgarh, anybody here from Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Bihar, you guys will know the Naxal incident almost every day होते थे 90s में. Almost every day. Weekly one तो minimum 52 in a year is minimum. Now it has come down. That's why we think Naxal incidents have come down. Now, what is the solution for the Naxal body issue? We have to handle the Naxal issue the same way as we handle the Kashmir problem. See, how did we handle the Kashmir problem? We tried. We tried the military solution. Nahi hua. So we are trying the economic solution and it is working, right? Infrastructure, G20 in Srinagar. गोला बारूद मिल ही जाता ना संदीप. 350 रुपीज का कार्ट्रिज है, 1500 रुपीज का तो मैगजीन है. I told you, no, gola barud. There are the, if you know the right contact, you can always get the gun anywhere. Home delivery भी हो जाता है. Anything is possible with Swiggy and Zomato. ये नया इंडिया है भाई. यहाँ पे सब कुछ होम डिलीवरी होता है. अब वो बंदूक हो या बारूद. Shining India. Now, recently, in the Shining India, Shining Concepts, there was one interesting change which happened. 2000 रुपए के नोट निकाल दिए गए, right? Denomination was out. Those holding 2000 rupee notes should deposit or exchange them from banks on September 30th. Even after withdrawal from circulation, it will continue to be a legal tender. And at this point, 20,000 rupees is the maximum which somebody can sort of change or do this. Why the removal happened? I mean, see, previously, 2000 rupee note was introduced after the demonetization exercise in 2016. The main aim was to tackle the economic issues like corruption, tax evasion, black money, and mainly to promote digital transactions. UPI got tremendous amount of boost after the demonetization exercise. That's the reality. Once the objective of adequate money circulation was done, government did not see 2000 rupee notes as needed. And ऊपर से, the reality is number of people using 2000 rupee note has also come down very drastically. there's no point keeping it in continuation. एंड जब नोट्स प्रिंट किए गए थे 2017 में, the lifespan was only 4 to 5 years, which has been crossed. So that's also one of the reasons why it was withdrawn. So the way how media and some of the government employees, some of the pro-government organizations are saying that it is to control corruption, ऐसा नहीं है. I mean, that might not be the really purpose, because it's only a demonetization exercise. 2000 rupee note will still continue to be a legal tender. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आफ्टर सितंबर 38 इट्स बिकम इलीगल एंड तुम इस्तेमाल नहीं कर सकते, ऐसा नहीं है. राइट. सो still remain legal tender. The notes will remain a legal tender during the period up to 30 and even after it. Very clearly, government have said this. The government said they will continue legal tender, but suggestion is unko badal lo. The public can continue using 2000 rupee note for transactions, but people are encouraged to deposit or exchange these notes on or before 30th September. Deadline is 30th September, but after that also it will remain legal tender. So I mean, मैं ठहरा आम आदमी. I did not even understand what's the point of having a deadline when even after deadline you can use it. Right? मुझको तो ये लॉजिक समझ नहीं आया. So that's the story. Let us see the first question for the day, guys. Consider the following statements regarding Kesaria Buddha Stupa. Kesaria Stupa is located in Champaran district of Bihar. It is regarded as one of the smallest Buddhist stupas in the world. Archaeological Survey of India has declared it as a protected monument of national importance. Which of the following statements are correct? उसी वजह से होगा, mainly to avoid people from panicking. That might have been the only purpose. Answer B. Kesaria Buddha Stupa is located in East Champaran district of Bihar. Yes. Par, 130 par, right. Stupa is located 110 kilometers from the state capital Patna. It has a current circumference of almost 400 feet. And the first construction of the nationally protected stupa is dated back to 3rd century BC. It is regarded as the largest Buddhist stupa in the world. The original Kesaria stupa is said to date back to time of Emperor Ashoka. It remains an Ashokan relic. The USA has declared it as a protected monument of national importance. Locals called Kesaria stupa as Devalaya, meaning house of the gods. However, larger part of the stupa is yet to be developed as it remains under thick vegetation. I mean, it's still naturally enclosed. Consider the following statement. The majority of the temples built during Gupta period were rock-cut temples. The Dashavatara temple and Bichargaon temple were built during Gupta age. Which of the above statements these are incorrect? Yes. Sandeep, why not? Why not? अरे असाइनमेंट में नीचे है क्वेश्चन है भरने का नीचे क्वेश्चन आई ऑलरेडी गॉट फोर सबमिट फोर फाइव पीपल हैव सबमिटेड द आंसर्स Answer is A. Structural temples from the Gupta. Dashavatara temple, Bithargaon temple are very important. In the 5th century, Kumaragupta ruled for 40 years over the north central India. Gupta built structural temples distinctly different from the ancient rock cut temples. I mean, rock cut temples. I mean, consider the following statements regarding Sankalipi script. Sankalipi script describes ornate spiral characters that look like conch shells or shankas. It is found to be engraved on temple pillars, columns, and rock surfaces. It was discovered by an English scholar, James Prinsep. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Prime Minister is not giving any statement on Manipur crisis. Okay, my question. Why should the Prime Minister give any statement about Manipur question? I mean, why is Prime Minister expected to give statement? क्या जरूरत है प्राइम मिनिस्टर को? हाँ, yes, he is the PM. Yes. So basically, Manipur issue is not even a government issue. It is basically an issue or a dispute between two tribes, two communities of Manipur who fought with each other. बेसिकली मणिपुर में सरकार ने तो कुछ किया नहीं है. मेइती, नागा ये लोग अपने में झगड़ा कर रहे हैं. And I'll tell you why this is not only you, but opposition is genuinely asking for Manipur statement is, see अगर प्राइम मिनिस्टर स्टेटमेंट देंगे, not just as Prime Minister of India, but as head of the state. So every group will try to interpret this statement in their own way. There is already enough trouble at hand. एक और स्टेटमेंट देके बात का बतंगड़ नहीं बनाना है. See, the reality is, I mean, this is my point of view. It's an internal issue. We should leave it. The maximum protocol requires is Home Minister discussing about it. Tribal issue hai, Sandeep. There are limitations even within constitutionally. There are limitations even on the government of India when it comes to tribal issues. Correct? है कि नहीं? हम पहले ट्राई कर चुके हैं ऐसा. जब नागा इश्यू चल रहा था, एवरी टाइम प्राइम मिनिस्टर गिव्स अ स्टेटमेंट, नागास बर्न इवन मोर. Why? Why give an opportunity? By the way, Shankalipi question का answer is D. All the three statements are correct. Shankalipi is actually a shell script which has very much strong similarity to Brahmi derivatives or Brahmi script, but it looks like conch shells or shank. They're found in inscriptions across north central India and date to between 4th to 8th centuries. Both Shankalipi and Brahmi are stylized scripts used primarily for names and signatures. It was discovered in 1836 on a brass trident by James Prinsep, who deduced Brahmi script as well. He was he was also the founder. James Prinsep was also the founder editor of the Asiatic Society of Bengal's journal. The Shankalipi inscription, cell inscriptions also reported in Indonesia and Java and Borneo. They are also observed in Udaygiri caves in Madhya Pradesh, Mansar in Maharashtra, some of the cave sites of Gujarat and Maharashtra. In fact, shell inscriptions, Shankalipi shell inscriptions are also reported in many other places. It's found in engraves on pillars, columns, rock surfaces. एक type का script ही था ये, full-fledged script. Battle of Saraighat was fought between. I don't know if you guys have started to observe that India is starting to reach a point which we call the postmodernist politics. मतलब हर चीज में प्राइम मिनिस्टर इन्वॉल्व होके हर चीज को प्राइम मिनिस्टर डिक्टेट नहीं करता अभी. We are trying to behave the same way what America does. In America, the president of America doesn't get into everything. Same in Britain. We are starting to reach that point. Saraighat, Ahom, and Mughals. Sara Garhi, Afghans, and British. Saraighat was fought in 1671. Lachit Borphu Khan defeated the Mughals. Lachit Borphu Khan. In the history of modern India, Mount Harriet is associated with Mount Harriet. Mount Harriet is actually associated with Anglo-Manipur War. Anglo-Manipur War, where Maharaja Kulachandra Dhwaja Singh was exiled to the British penal colony in Andaman Islands after the war. Several Manipuris fought this war. Considered an epoch in the Mount Anglo-Manipur War is considered an epoch, a very important phase in the Anglo-Manipur relations. Very similar to how this, the Battle of Kongjom Padwa. War logic. Yes. Okay. Next. Patharughat uprising during the British rule was a tribal revolt, a peasant uprising, a caste movement, or a working class movement. Patharughat. Tell. Ever heard of this? Patharughat uprising. It is actually a peasant revolt after the annexation of Assam. 1826, surveys of vast lands began in Assam. And on the basis of these surveys, British government started to impose taxes on people of Assam. 1893, government decided to increase the taxes on agriculture land by almost 70 to 80%. Tab people were very frustrated. People got very, very irritated and frustrated, and they raised an uprising. Across Assam, peasants began protesting. A move organized by males, the Raji males, and it started. Patharu got peasant uprising. Pagdi Sambhal Jatta movement during British period was related to. Oh yes, Patharu is still a town. Yes, Pagdi Sambhal Jatta movement. What was this in regards to? तो गाना भी था ना. Against government's Punjab Land Alienation Act. It was actually an agitation against the agricultural dispute between government of British and farmers in Punjab. पंजाब में एक पॉलिसी लाया था पंजाब लैंड एलिनेशन एक्ट सो कैनाल इरिगेशन करवाने के लिए गवर्नमेंट स्टार्टेड टेकिंग लैंड्स but instead of giving rehabilitation and economic compensation, government started punishing farmers. So some of the farmers, particularly Bhagat Singh's uncle Ajit Singh, planned an entire movement against the British interference called the Pagdi Sambhal Jatta movement. He wanted to channel all the anger into the proper or right forum, proper and right way to topple the colonial government. Yes. Consider the following statements. After undergoing several changes, the tricolor flag was adopted as a national flag at the Congress Committee meeting in the Karachi in 1931, and the Indian flag was adopted in its present form during India's independence on August 15th, 1947. Which of the following statements is or are incorrect? Incorrect. Answer is B. Indian flag was adopted in its present form in on July 22nd, 1947. The first national flag, which consists of three horizontal strips, is said to have been hoisted on August 7, 1906, at Parsi Bagan Square near Lower Circular Town in Calcutta. So, since the question is asking which of the following statements these are correct, answer second statement is definitely incorrect. Later in 1921, freedom fighter Pingali Venkaya met Mahatma Gandhi and proposed a basic design, which was then adopted in the Congress Committee of Karachi 1931. Karachi Flag Committee 1931, Congress Committee में it was definitely accepted. Consider the following statements regarding Deccan riots. The movement got support from Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. The main motive of the riots was to destroy the account books of the moneylenders. Deccan Agriculturists Relief Act was passed, which ensured that farmers could not be arrested and imprisoned if they were unable to pay their debts. Which of the following statements is or are correct? Answer is D. May-June 1875, peasants of Maharashtra, some parts of Pune and Ahmednagar district revolted against increasing agrarian crisis or agrarian issues. Deccan riots of 1875 targeted conditions of the debt peonage or Kaimutis or moneylanders. The movement got full support from Pune Sarvajanik Sabha, co-founded by Mahadev Govind Ranade. The specific purpose of the rioters was to obtain and destroy the bonds and decrees and other documents in the possession of the moneylenders. I mean, जो भी है उनके पास निकालना है बस. After consulting their positions in India, the Delhi Sultans introduced reforms in land revenue administration. In this context, Ikta lands were assigned to who was given Ikta lands in the Delhi Sultanate? Courtyards for mosques, religious leaders or religious institutions, officials for their services, expanding the market in the hinterlands of the empire. Ikta were given as land allocations for the officials. Ikta lands were land of lands assigned to officials for as payment for their duties. Khalisa lands were land under the direct control of the Sultan, and revenue collected was spent for the maintenance of royal courts and royal households. Inam lands were basically gift lands, which was given to religious leaders and religious institutions. Inam was basically a gift land. तीन तरीके के लैंड होते थे, इक्ता, खालिसा एंड इनाम. In the British French rivalry to take control of Indian trade resulted in French failure. Which of the following were the main causes of the French failure? England's victory in European wars, commercial and naval superiority of the British, lack of support from the French government. 1 2 2 3 1 3 1 2 3. Main reasons, answer is D. D, 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 D. Main causes why the French failed is basically Britishers were superior in commerce and naval power. Britishers had a very severe lack of support from the French government. French had support only in Deccan, but the English had strong base in Bengal as well. English had three important ports: Calcutta port, Bombay port, and Madras port. But French had only one, Pondicherry. There was a very strong difference of opinion between French generals and the British. And England's victory in European wars decided the destiny of the French in India. I mean, England had very strong victory in the wars. Consider the following statements regarding Dholavira. Here, the walls were made of sandstone or limestone instead of mud bricks in many other Harappan sites. It was a hub of manufacturing jewelry made of shells and semi-precious stones. Extensive mortal remains of humans have been discovered at Dholavira. Which of the above statements is correct? 1, 2, 1, 3, 3. Only 1, 2, 3. Guys, just as a feedback, you guys want the current affairs to continue, right? with MCQs? Some current issues with MCQs? या सिर्फ MCQ करें? Hmm. Okay, good. See, the answer for this question is A. The site has Dolivera actually has a Spotify citadel, a middle town, a lower town with walls made of sandstone or limestone instead of mud bricks or as we see in many Harappan sites. Archaeological cities also have a cascading series of water reservoirs. Archaeologists believe that Dolivera has a lot of water reservoirs, check dams basically. Outer fortification, two multi-purpose grounds, one of which was used for festivities and a marketplace. 9 gates with unique designs and funerary architecture have been observed. That's what makes Dolivera very important. Offline. Bhargav, I'll be starting. Map pointing, I'll be starting from tomorrow, Thursday. Map pointing classes, I'll be doing from tomorrow. Uh, and world history, yes, we got a gap. Kar lenge. I'm just trying to work out my schedule. Sunday page is offline. At this point, offline. Okay, now, guys, for today, let us end the session here. I have a class now at 10 o'clock, offline class. And let us meet tomorrow in the morning at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Let us meet tomorrow morning 9 a.m. and we'll continue with some more current affairs, some more MCQs. Thank you, guys. You have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.